Let's get into the Word of God. Those of you who've got your Bibles, we're going to be reading out of, well, briefly reading out of Acts 2, continuing the theme of how do we as a 21st century church make as big an impact as the first ever church. So if you want to turn Acts 2, 42 to 47. And it reads, they joined with the other believers, and they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and fellowship, sharing in the Lord's Supper and in prayer. A deep sense of awe came over them all, and the apostles performed many miraculous signs and wonders. And all the believers met together constantly and shared everything they had. They sold their possessions and shared the proceeds with those in need. They worshipped together at the temple each day, met in homes for the Lord's Supper, and shared their meals with great joy and generosity, all the while praising God and enjoying the goodwill of all the people. And each day the Lord added to their group those who were being saved. You know what? For those of you who don't know, I'm coaching a football team in a Christian league. We have 24 players, and I think there's only about 4 or 5 that are Christians. The idea is just to teach these guys about God. They played one game, and 2 of them randomly turned up in Julian's house group last week. I was like, wow! Randomly turned up, like Julian opens the door, I was like, what are you doing here? I said, Julian, you should never say, what are you doing here? You say, coming in! You know what? I believe that's the start of the things to come. And I give God glory. Now, there are a couple of things I could take from that verse, but I'll focus a bit on it next time I'm preaching. This morning, what I want to focus on, right? You know when you mention this word in church, right? This word in church just gets everybody's back up. It's like, oh, here he goes. It's the word give. The word give. What happens normally is when you mention the word give, everybody just shuts off. I listen to the preacher, he's got a low wage, and he's looking for a pay raise. I ain't giving no money. And that's the mentality of it all. But you know what? I'm actually not going to speak about money this morning. But I'm going to speak about giving.
Okay.
The word devoted in this passage, where it says that they devoted themselves, it means they give themselves, right? The word actually means to give unremitting care to a thing. Unremitting care. They give unremitting care to the teaching, to fellowship, to sharing communion, and to prayer. See, I could just stop there now. That's what we need to be in. We need to be in a prayer meeting. We need to be doing receiving the Lord's Supper. We need to be fellowshipping one with each other, and you should be in a Bible study. It doesn't say anything about a Sunday morning or a Sunday night. Now, I know that might backfire because none of them come next Sunday morning. But at the end of the day, it says they met in houses. It does say they met in synagogues. They met in houses, and they devoted themselves. It wasn't a kind of wishy-washy, get up in the morning, shall I go today? Or I won't go tonight because I've got a bit too much on, or I've got an headache, or my nails are not dry yet. And they devoted themselves. They went whole hog. They committed. They was like, nothing else matters. I need to get a bit of prayer. I need the Lord's Supper. I need to fellowship each with each other. And I need to get the teaching of the apostles. How else are you going to grow if we don't get a bit of teaching? Now let me give you a couple of other verses. John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his one and only Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Notice it doesn't say God gave a bank full of money. It says God gave his only Son. God gave his only Son. He gave. He gave us a gift of his Son. John 10:18 says, no one can take my life from me. I lay down my life voluntarily. Lay down here. Now, this may get a little bit. Ready for this one? heard many people say that tithing is not scriptural for the New Testament, right? I don't care whether you believe it's Old Testament or New Testament. Let me just point something out to you here, right? Where Jesus says, no one can take my life from me, I lay down my life. Do you know the word lay down in Greek means tithmus. Tithmus. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how you say it. Do you know what Jesus is stating? I'm giving you the first. I'm giving you the best. You know when you give your tithe, you're supposed to bring the first. You're supposed to, when they tithe the crops, it was always the first, it was the best. And whatever happened after, that was all blessing. But they gave the best. Jesus gave himself as the best, as the first, and also as the last. So I don't care what the argument is about tithing. You know what? It don't bother me if you don't put 2 shekels in the tin. Right? It got nothing to do with me. That's your walk with God. But when Jesus showed me this week that he actually gave himself as a tithe. That was cool. Matthew 20. Matthew 20. With Matthew. Matthew 20, 25 to 28 says, but Jesus called them together and said, you know that in the world kings and tyrants and officials lord it over the people beneath them. But among you it should be quite different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant. Whoever wants to be first must become your slave. For even I, the Son of Man, came here not to be served, but to serve others and to give my life as a ransom for many. Today, we're going to look at giving as a servant, of putting others before yourselves. Luke 9:23 in the New Living Translation says, then he said to the crowd, if any of you wants to be my followers, you must put aside your selfish ambition, shoulder your cross daily, and follow me. Again, this is not optional. You either do or you don't. It is daily you shoulder your cross. Daily. You know, you can't get up and think, you know what, today I'm just going to look after myself. As a Christian, as someone who wants to love God and follow God, you should be... Do you know what? In Bradford Church, the pastor up there, he challenged his church to do 15 minutes of kindness every day. 15 minutes of kindness every day. Everyone in his church, which is around about, I think it's about 3,000 people. So 3,000 people let loose in Bradford doing 15 minutes of kindness a day. Now Charlotte scammed his daughter. Basically, she said she was coming to church one Sunday morning and someone had broken down or something. So she was looking at her watch thinking, right, and it was a lady who had broken down. She was looking at her watch thinking, I'm going to be late. I can't really stop, I'm going to be late. She said, no, Steve, pull over. Steve, go and change the wheel. Notice she didn't do it. Just for the husband. She said, all that mattered was her witness of 15 minutes of kindness to someone who needed their help. And you know what? That woman said, where are you going? And she said, I'm going to church. The woman followed them to church. Do you know what? Come in at 11:30 if you have to. But as long as you've been out helping someone, I don't care. When you come in at 20 to 11 and you haven't done been helping someone, then I got a bit of a problem with it. Because the meeting's already started. But you know, we should be looking for ways, like Jimmy, we should be looking for ways to bless people. And you know what? You do it without looking for a return. Yes. God said to me, right? I'm still working with Melvin and this other girl now who I'm waiting to start working with her. And God said to me one day, and this hit me for 6, would you still help him if he didn't come to church? I said, oh, wow, no, I would. I didn't really think about that. But would you still help people in your community if you knew they wouldn't come to church? Because see, Jesus laid down his life knowing that people would reject him. And he still did it. And the other thing God said is, because the girl lives in Tom Pender, he said, would you move out to Tonell to help something? Not literally move out to Tonell, but would you go to Tom Pender and help someone? Because he's out with you at the area. When God asks us to show love, there is no area. When God asks us to show love, we don't pick and choose. We're obedient to God. So when God says, I want to help you down and out, you help her down and out. When God says to you, I want to give a lady a Bible to a lady who's selling vacation, you do it. And you are